here.
That's a lovely way to be, aware of things your heart alone was meant to see. The fundamental loneliness goes whenever two can dream a dream together. You can't deny, don't try to fight the rising sea. Don't fight the moon, the stars above, and don't fight me. Fundamental loneliness goes whenever two can dream a dream together. When I saw you first, the time was 3:30. When your eyes met mine, it was eternity. By now I know
by the great Brazilian composer Antonio Carlos Jobim, called Wave. We're going to play an American composer. It's Johnny Mandel, who's famous for the soundtrack to The Sandpiper, where he wrote the song "The Shadow of Your Smile." And MASH, yeah, he did the TV show, the theme MASH. We're going to play another one that's a waltz that he wrote that's my favorite waltz, called Emily. And it's in 3/4, of course. This one. Right on it? 1, 2, 3, 2,
This has all been very well rehearsed.
We're going to play a song made famous by Duke Ellington, but it was written by Juan Tizol, trombone player. And it's an up-tempo song. We'll change the tempo for you. Play a nice ballad made famous by a lot of great singers called My One and Only Love. Sinatra sang it, Johnny Hartman sang it. It's a really nice ballad. I'll play for you. Okay, next we're going to play our version of a very famous song called Body and Soul that was made famous by a saxophone player named Coleman Hawkins, I think in 1939. And he did it as a ballad, but we just played a ballad, so we're going to play this in a waltz tempo. It's going to be like a jazz waltz. It's going to make a sad song sound happy. We hope. Yep.
Yeah.
We hope. All right? 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 is good. Just love it. No. We've done this. One, two, three, right on it.
It's too much fun playing.
So do the verse.
Sure.
Lindsay always say it's easy when you know that.
There's another Joe Bean thing called Corcovado. It's also called Quiet Nights. There's another title for it.
Quiet Nights, Quiet Stars.
Yeah, Quiet Nights of Quiet Stars. Yeah. The verse, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. here's a song that was a French song to begin with called Autumn Leaves, and Johnny Mercer wrote the American lyrics. He was one of the great lyric writers. So we're going to play this one for you. Eddie's gonna sing for you now.
Party expression. I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. I passed the shadowy lane and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. Moon shining down on some little town, and with each beat, same old dream. With every stop that we made, well, I thought about you. And as I pulled down the shade, well, I really felt blue. A peek through the crack, a look down the track, the one leading back to you. I took a trip on a train and thought about you. Took a trip on a train and I thought about you. I passed the shadowy lane and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. Moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam, same old dream. With every stop that we made, well, I thought about you. And as I pulled down the shade, well, I really felt blue. A peek through the crack, a look down the track, the one leading back to you. I took a trip on a train. I took a trip on a train. I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. Thank you.
If anybody's trying to figure out what
Don't.
Eddie's playing,
Don't.
it's kind of difficult because it's not an accordion.
What's it? It's a digital accordion.
Yeah.
There are no reeds in it, like original accordions have reeds for both sides. This has no reeds in it whatsoever. Everything is sampled on chips. Inside it looks like NASA.
That's how you get all the different sounds.
Yeah, it's a great little toy, expensive toy, but it's fun. So what you got?
I want to do, how about All the Things You Are? There's a great composer, Jerome Kern, wrote a song called All the Things You Are. And he must have been classically oriented because this is the most unique song ever written. the melody is always the third of the chord. If you know anything about music. And he took 8 measures, and he liked what he wrote in the first 8 measures, and he transposed it to another key for the second 8 measures. Then he took the middle of the song, called the bridge, and wrote 4 measures, and he said, well, I like that, I'm just going to modulate those 4 measures into another key for the next 4, and then went back to the beginning, and then put what they call a tag ending. So it's not 32 bars, it's 40 bars, I believe.
I don't count.
Yeah, or 42. It's got a little extra
I can't count
measures
that.
on the end.
I can't
Anyway,
count
it's
that.
a great song.
Lyrics for Extra House.
Second.
Yeah, I'm not sure, did he,
Yeah.
that's what it was, yeah, okay. All right,
And then do the chorus.
no. Picture be too long. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, we're gonna do Duke Ellington's theme song, but to tell you the truth, Duke, again, did not write this one. Anybody know who wrote it? Billy Strayhorn, yeah.
He's a ringer.
It's a ringer. And it actually says Billy Strayhorn on the music and the Delta Boys. So it was a group, but Duke liked it so much. I'll tell you a quick story about Billy Strayhorn. He auditioned for Duke when he was 24 years old. He was a genius. He sat down at the piano, sounded exactly like Duke Ellington. So Duke said, "Whoa, this guy can play just like me." And so he put him on the band, and he didn't get credit for a lot of the songs that Duke started to write, and then he gave it to Billy to finish it. So just recently, in the last 20, 30 years, they've been giving him a lot more credit than he deserved. Yeah. Okay, so this is take the A train.
do
I got rhythm instead?
Yeah, you had that idea before, right?
Yeah, end it with the Flintstones.
Yeah, gotcha.
So we're gonna do a George Gershwin piece that was used by a lot of jazz players to use their chords and write new melodies. This is called I Got Rhythm. And we're gonna play another song at the end. We're not gonna end with the song that we started. We're gonna end with another song. Maybe you'll know it.
Maybe.
B flat.
B flat.
Right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And you probably heard me quote a lot of other songs when I was playing solos. Did you hear those other ones?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. But other songs that when we played, we were both quoting a lot of different songs. Yeah. That's the fun about music. You can make up, if you know a lot of songs, you have to, it's a puzzle. It's like a crossword puzzle. You try to figure out if the chord will, you could use the melody for the chords that are played.
Yeah.
The technical word for that is contrafaction.
Oh.
Contrafaction, yeah, that's when
We
you
call it
take,
jazz, it's contrafaction.
you take chord melodies like we just played on Guy Got Rhythm, and then you write a new melody like the Flintstones, or there's thousands of them. Yeah. Any questions? We're gonna wrap it up now.
How do you get the vocal tones to come out of the accordion?
Yeah.
The company that makes this instrument was originally a synthesizer company. And they had a president who, many years ago, I think his name was Takahashi, he was an organist. And they claimed that the organ is like the monster of the instruments. And he always wanted, like, we do keyboards, we do synthesizers, we do electric pianos, why don't we try making an electric accordion? Everybody had done electric accordions. The neat thing about this is that everything is sampled. These sounds all come from the company that makes it, which is Roland Instruments, the second largest instrument manufacturer in the world. The Yamaha's the first. And what they do is they will sample things. Used to be way back in the early days of sampling, there was an instrument there was a guy up in the Boston area called Ray Kurzweil. Kurzweil was the first one, I think, one of the first guys to start sampling instruments. He would take a saxophone player and bring him into he had a recording studio, and the saxophone player would play a note, a single note. Boom, play it pure. Boom. Okay, now play it with vibrato. Boom, with a little vibrato. And then he would say, okay, now play it short. Boom. And he would sample all these sounds in what they call 8-bit technology. Now they're up to, I think, 64-bit, maybe even 120, where each one of these bits is like a little slope that makes a tonal curve. And he was the first one to start this stuff. And then they came, and this was the advent of something they called MIDI, Musical Instrument Digital Interface, which lets let's say I own a Roland keyboard, and I like the sounds that Yamaha makes. Well, this MIDI interface set down a protocol that if you make an instrument that's MIDI compatible, it has to meet these standards. There's 128, you can transmit up to 128 different, there's 16 channels, and you can transmit up to 128 different notes on these 16 channels. So I have a Roland, but I buy Kurzweil modules because I like the sound of his acoustic bass. And I can use the Kurzweil bass while I'm playing my Roland. The interesting thing is that back in 1988, there was a guy in Boston by the name of Gerry Cappuccio, who has 3 PhDs, who made a MIDI controller accordion. This is a digital. It has MIDI capability. I can plug this into those modules. But Ray made one back in '80. I got mine. I think there's only 7 of them in the world. And the interesting thing that he did is on this instrument, the biggest nemesis of the accordion has been this left hand, because you have preset chords, triads, 3 notes at a time, set up in a systematic order that Italy decided. And you have minor chords, dominant 7 chords missing a note, and diminished 7 chords missing a note. But you have. The problem is when you do the bass line, you can never get a complete octave. It either breaks, just da, it drops. Ray designed an algorithm where the left hand could, if I wanted it to, I could do 7 octaves.
Wow.
By just playing the same notes over and over again. I could play a C major scale 5 times and be 5 octaves up. And to get back down to the bottom, just lift my hand off it, it'll drop down to a new position. This company, I spoke to Ray and offered this company that particular, I said, talk to him about the patent. We want nothing for the patent. What's $10,000? Nothing.
Oh.
When you put this on the accordion, you'll sell even more accordions than you now sell. You'll own the accordion industry for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
The Italian engineer, the Japanese engineer sat there for half an hour while I played his instrument for them. They were taking notes. They came back the following year with this model. I said, what happened? Did you call Ray? Eddie, How many people play like you? I said, I've been hearing that since 1972 when I was with another Iorio accordions. I said, I'm sick of hearing it, make it. He's only got 7, you could own this world, the accordion world. He said, yeah. I said, and they didn't want to know about it. My last words to him were, I now know why you lost the war.
Oh,
You don't want to listen.
yeah.
You don't want to listen. You think if you don't invent it, we don't need it. But every year you used to ask the accordion, what do you like? We told you last year, you still didn't make it. They just don't want to listen. They think their sounds are not, these happen to be primarily, I think, sounds from the guys in LA and the guys overseas in Japan. But they're not bad. Those voices are sampled. The voices down here. There's only, I think, 2. Those are called the jazz doos. Then we have the jazz. Then we have the jazz scat. A little bit, with a little bit, by hitting with a little bit more velocity instead of gently. If I attack it, that's how you get that fall. You know? It involves some thinking when you're playing. How do you want to use it? You know, but it's fun.
Thank you.
It's constant experiment. Sorry to be so verbose, but
Thank you for coming.
thank you for being here.
Thank you.